Today I'm fitting a GPS unit to my Yamaha Tenere. And the GPS unit I'm going to use is the Garmin Tread Base Edition. And I've also got these connectors off the internet that should hopefully make connecting this to this a bit easier. And getting straight into it, I first have to take off the right hand side fairing by removing 3 screws and 2 plastic clips. With all the fasteners removed, I now need to slide the fairing back to disconnect it from the bike, and also the bullet connectors for the side lights, which would be easier without the bars in the way, but it's not too much of a hassle and the job is done pretty quickly, to be fair. So this next bit should be really easy because this is the connector I bought off the internet. It's got a female connector there, 2 male connectors there, which was obviously for 2 different outputs. I'm going to use the Garmin for one. I'll figure out what I'm going to put on the second one at a later date. May put a USB charger on there or something like that. But that is the connector I need to connect to the Garmin, and then it's just a case of simply clicking it into place there, and then this female one goes on the male version there, which is currently insulation taped to the bike. So I'm going to cut that off now and then start connecting things up. To free up the accessory connector, I used a blunt blade that made hard work of something that should have been really easy. And then I removed the weatherproof cap and placed it aside to cover off the spare accessory connector on the new splitter. So now the fun part begins and I get into the box of the Garmin, which I opened upside down, but that gave me access to everything I needed really. I don't need the display screen just yet, so I pull all the instructions out and everything else, check everything that's there, and this is pretty much the contents of the box. So the little bundle of joy within the box is obviously the Garmin Tread itself. All these little gubbins, inside this little bag is like the world's smallest screws. They're not really like the world's smallest ones obviously. They look like they're for glasses though. And there's the screwdriver for them. Little connectors which look like they go on a battery or something. Screws and washers and everything else. Then there's different mounts, multicolored little back-ends for the GPS, so I can change that to black if I so wish to, or red. I doubt I'll change to red. Then more mounting stuff. So I'm gonna have a bit of a read of the instructions. I know blokes apparently don't do that, but I do. And what a good read they were, because apart from letting me know professionals should be fitting this unit, they had some good pictures that helped me put this mini jigsaw puzzle together, starting with feeding the power for the GPS into its mount, which then gets connected with one of the tiny screws, as the second screw is a spare. And that's pretty much how it looks with everything connected correctly. The last thing to do now is just give it a bit of a test fit to the GPS unit, and that should be it before connecting everything up to the wiring. For the wiring, I chose to use bullet connectors just to simply connect everything up. It is a quick and easy method of doing things, and obviously if there are issues in the future I can just pull them off and then solder them in. But I didn't fancy doing that on this day, so I got out my little bullet connectors and started to get to work. Before I finally added connectors to the wiring, I did do a little check. So I know that when you turn this ignition on, the Garmin unit makes a little bit of a beep.
and then the screen comes on, as you can see here. It's not very bright at this moment, that's because there's a screen cover on there, but that to me shows that it's working. So I'm happy that everything is connected as it should be. So now everything is ready to be tied up and fed through the areas that it needs to be fed through, so that the Garmin can be placed in its final resting place. I need to do a little bit of insulating on the spare wire that was poking out from the new little adapter, then do a bit of zip tying to put things away. And this wasn't just the extent of the zip tying, there's plenty more zip ties went on after that. Then it was time to connect up the little lights, do a little test check to make sure that the lights are actually working, which they are. Then I can put the fairing back in its place, stick the little fasteners back in, and that should be it. A few more tests and that is me happy with my new Garmin.
So that's everything back where it should be on the bike. The little side panel's back on, the wiring is tucked away where it should be as well and zip tied up so it doesn't fall down. When I turn the key on, the little side light comes on, the side repeater comes on, and the tread comes on. And that is that job, nice and easily complete. I'm quite pleased with how smooth that went. For now, I've just placed the tread gently up on top of the display there, and that's because I'm contemplating fitting this Motovlog side-by-side unit, but if I do that, that's going to be in another video. So for now, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thanks very much for watching. Please press the thumbs up button down below if you've enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. I'll bring you another video soon.